YouTube. Okay, so I'm back again. I know what you're thinking right before we start. Why the hell is this guy in the same clothes as he was the last time? Does he not wash his clothes? Does he not change? Well, actually, it's because I am lazy. Well, not lazy. I've just got stuff going on the week, so I am pre-recording this one. So it's straight after the last one I just recorded. So it is still about 1,000 degrees in this room with the lights on, but I'm gonna power through for you guys. So what have we got on today? We have pull-ups. I'm quite excited to do this one. I love pull-ups and they are amazing for your back development. I know lots of other YouTubers, again, have covered pull-ups and probably, the exercises I've already talked about and probably exercises I'm going to talk after. But these videos are they are for newer people who want to learn the exercise, and again as well they can be for intermediates. You know, if you want to know the exercise or you want to know a slightly harder version or easier version to do it, or you want a quick video to learn it, then it's great to have you here as well. So pull-ups, why are they so good? Well, obviously we know that pull-ups are going to really target those lats, and as we talked about in the last video, we want that sweet thick back with that nice V-taper. So this is definitely going to be a great exercise to do so. In terms of how to perform the pull-up, let's start there, shall we? That'd be good. So to perform the pull-up, obviously let's start off with your hands. Where are your hands on the bar? Obviously when we say pull-up, I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. Obviously some people like to have their hands here, which I know isn't technical. That one's called a pull-up and that one's called a chin-up, but whatever, for the purpose of this video, we're just going to call the different variations technically are all types of pull-ups because we are just pulling ourselves up. So let's not get like, too OTT about it. If you prefer this way, obviously you're going to have like an overhand grip and you're going to want your hands slightly out to the side of where your shoulders are. If you're going for an inverted grip, so you're going for a chin up, you want your hands to be kind of in line with your shoulders. You can have them slightly out or slightly in. I just find when I have them more in line or slightly in that it's a much easier exercise. If I have them too far out, then you're like trying to do this and it's just a mess. Then your other option, if you do have the option to do so, are a neutral handed grips. And as I said in the last video when we're looking at our rows, I massively prefer to do neutral grip pull-ups. That's just what I find easier. If I do them like this, the rotation for some reason hurts the inside of my elbow, and when I try and do them like this, I'm too weak because I just haven't practiced doing that style of pull-up, so I get maybe one rep. So it's always neutral. It's neutral for me all the way, baby. So once we've picked our grip on the bar, then what we're going to do is we're going to pull directly upwards, obviously. If your hands are in, let's go from out to in actually. So if your hands are in this position, your arms are going to fall nicely to the side of you. If your hands are under, for a chin up, your hands are going to be obviously here next to your shoulders with your chin above the bar. And if you're doing neutral, they're going to be here as well with your chin above the bar. And then obviously you're going to lower yourself back down. Now, during this process, between getting from the floor to the bar, if you have the space to do so, keep your feet slightly out in front of you, tense your core, and as other YouTubers have covered, I know, but just quick, this kind of helps to plug like energy leaks and stuff in your form, and it helps make your process basically a lot more smoother. But I know a lot of us, or some of us at the moment with everything that's going on, are training at home, and some people prefer to train at home anyway, and I do. Which will probably be for the videos in this one, they will probably be on my pull-up bar downstairs. So I don't have enough space on that bar between the top and the bottom to have my feet out in front of me. So it is still okay if you don't have the space to kick your feet out behind you and relax them. It's just not, I don't know, what's the best way to put it? It's not the most practical way to do them, but it's not gonna hurt that much. If you do them, you might lose one rep or something. It's not going to make that much of a difference. Just if you do have the space to do so, then put your feet out, because then you can crank out that extra rep. It does help. With that in mind, then effectively all you're doing is you're pulling directly upwards, coming to the top, getting your chin over the bar, trying to make sure that you don't swing too much backwards and forwards either. If you're really trying to if you're really basically like rocking and flicking, like really throwing yourself up to the bar, stop, slow down, use some of the tips that I'm going to talk about later on in the video for making it easier and work back up and make sure your form is good. Now obviously, as I've said before, if you're in the gym, you can check your form by using a mirror. That's what they're there for. They're not for the weird topless guy in the corner. Or get a friend to check your form, or film yourself on your phone. A lot of us have phones these days, which we can set up somewhere and get have a look and judge our form that way after doing a set. If you're doing it at home, again, you could always use your phone. If you want to steal a mirror from someone, if their door's a mirror, just rip the entire door off and take it downstairs. Your form's more important than someone's door. Or, as I said, use your phone. Or get a family member to judge you, or a friend. That also works too. So, with that covered, I'm going to go into how to make it easier first, as we do on this channel. So, how to make them easier. In terms of what you can do, and again, I know other YouTubers have covered this, but it is just to be a simple video, to try and make this as simple as possible. So, first one, you have inverted rows. I believe, I'm trying to think of some of the people that have covered this, like Jeff Cavalier from Athlete X has covered this. I watched his video on it, which was quite insightful. But effectively what you're going to do is set up a bar so that you have your feet resting on the floor and then you pull to the bar. What does this do? It gives us our feet on the floor, which obviously lightens the weight of your body, because it's not all hanging in midair. Obviously most of it's resting on the floor. And two, it then obviously helps us practice our form, because we're not having to like dangle from the bar and we can stop and then practice. The other thing I would say that will help your pull-ups are two other things. So you've got doing rows, which we did a whole video on if you watched our last video on how to do rows, because they're going to work your lats, your back, and if your back and your lats are stronger, then hopefully, that will probably also transfer over. It will, not probably. It will transfer over into your pull-ups, because you'll have a stronger back, you'll be able to pull more, and that will help. Also, be doing the lat pull down. This is a great way to, I know that your bottom half is then effectively trapped in the, in the stoppers on the machine, which, then you've got to go to a bar, and obviously you may have to lower the reps that you're doing to accommodate for the fact that you're going to have to practice with a slightly different position. But you can obviously start off really light on a lat pull down and work your way up incrementally and build up your strength that way first, so that then when you transfer over to the bar to do pull-ups, you then have built up a bit of strength first before you do them later on down the line. So those would be my tips for in terms of what you can do exercise wise to make it easier. In terms of what you some other bits as well, you could do I know that dead hangs help, because that helps with your grip strength, which obviously, if your grip strength fails before your your lats or your back burn out, if that is a problem for you, then doing these and to strengthen your grip is a great thing to do. And also you could also do I've forgotten now, pause reps. Sorry, not pause reps, not to make it easier, sorry. You could do scap pull-ups, which are effectively doing a pull-up without bending your arms. And, obviously most people do scap pull-ups like that. You can do scap pull-ups in neutral. You can't really do them in this one, but they do kind of work in neutral, but they are obviously best done with an overhand grip. And effectively what this does is it's pulling up without bending your arms. So obviously it shortens massively the amount of motion, the range of motion you're doing, but it does help to strengthen your back as well. So those are some great tips for making the pull-up easier. Now let's look at making the pull-up harder. Again, this is always my favorite part of the episode, is making the pull-ups, making the exercise harder. I love it. So how do we make pull-ups harder for all the variations? Well, naturally, you can add weight to yourself should you have the assistance of a weight belt. I know there's some videos out there where you can use like an old dog lead to do it if you're at home. But if that obviously helps, and then you can build up and do more weight over time, then you're going to make your pull-ups harder. Another thing is a pause rep. We've covered this pretty much I think in every single video. Any exercise you do where you pause it is going to make the exercise harder, because your muscles are under tension for longer. It's just science, people. And I guess also as well, you could also do a half rep if you wanted to come down halfway, pause, pull up, and then come all the way back down. I'm not even going to even attempt remotely to put up a video of me doing that because I think my back biceps would implode or explode, one of the two. But yeah, so those are some ways that you can do to make your pull-ups harder. You know, if you don't have any weight plates at home, you could always, I don't know, I've seen a lot of people hanging off people while they're doing pull-ups. Just make sure maybe there's something underneath them, you know, for them to fall onto should they accidentally slip off. And yeah, the other way, again, for exercise, it's pretty much all exercise. It translates to anything, is doing like a drop set. So if you were doing weighted pull-ups, you could always do as many weighted as you can, drop the weight, do as many as you can, so therefore you've gone through failure. Another thing you could do is you could step up to the bar once you can't do any more pull-ups, and then lower yourself back down and just work on the eccentric. That also helps to break failure. So those are two good ways to make your exercise harder as well. They're great tools to use should you want to. Right, I hope that was informative. Again, I've tried to make it reasonably short, and remember that all the information in this video is again aimed at kind of new people to slight intermediates. So it's not for you guys who are pro level, because you guys can probably do some like really cool pull-ups, like headbanger pull-ups and stuff like that. So I've just tried to pick the more simpler versions of harder and easier that people can do, so that they're not going to get too confused or like, you know, it's too much for them in one go. So hopefully that was good. I actually don't have a drink with me today. I know, shocker. I always have a drink, but literally that's because we're filming one video straight after the other, and I down my drink. Now I've got to go and get one because it is 500,000 degrees in this room with all these lights. So hope you enjoyed that. Really nice to have you watching. Comment down below. Usually, as we always say, if for any criticism, 100% love it. If you think of any other things that newer to slight intermediates could do to make their exercise easier or harder, and if you think I left anything out, obviously let me know. It's great to have your input, because you know I want this to be for you guys, so to have your input is really amazing. And thank you, yeah. So see you later.